Maybe you've been slowly recognizing the peace you feel after distancing yourself from your passive-aggressive friend. Or maybe I'm not really your therapist and you're just here to get my take on these Reddit friendship stories. Am I the jerk for telling my friend that her handmade Etsy shop is literally just AliExpress dropshipping? My friend has been running this Etsy shop for like 8 months now, constantly posting on Instagram about her small business and how everything is handcrafted with love, asking people to support her journey, blah blah blah. I bought one of her resin keychains as a gift for my sister, like $14. And when it arrived, I recognized it immediately because I had seen the exact same keychain, same mold, same color swirls, all on AliExpress for $120. I did reverse image searches and found her entire shop catalog on there. Then I consulted her privately and she admitted that she just buys bulk from AliExpress and relists them. Fine, whatever, people do that. But the handmade thing is genuinely illegal on Etsy, and she's charging people 10 times the price based on a lie. She kept brushing it off, so I finally told her I wasn't going to keep quiet about it, especially because she was actively encouraging people to buy from her instead of soulless corporations to support a real maker. Now she's saying that I betrayed her and that I should mind my own business because she has like $3K saved up from stake and the shop is her main income. I get that people need money and I've been there. I've had months where I was budgeting every single dollar just to get by. But lying to your customers and calling yourself a small artisan when you're literally just a reseller feels wrong to me. Her boyfriend also texted me saying I was jealous of her success, which okay. Am I the jerk? Oh my god, no. I feel like it's bad enough to be doing the drop shipping thing. From my understanding, it's like all the same problems as fast fashion. And then on top of that, to scam people into believing that it's all handmade? Come on. Not the jerk. Reselling cheap stuff isn't the issue. Tons of people do that. The problem is calling it handmade and guilt-tripping people to support a small maker when it's literally AliExpress. That's just misleading customers. You told her privately first, which is fair. If she didn't want the truth getting out, she shouldn't build the whole brand on a lie. The word you're looking for is fraud. She is committing fraud, most likely across state lines. That is so insane. And this is probably the least of all of the concerns of this like totally morally corrupt scheme. But she's also charging her friend that extremely marked up price. Scamming randos is one thing, but the fact that she's willing to scam people she knows and her own friends is what makes her truly a jerk. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's usually best to just not scam people. But it's true, it does say something that not only is she willing to scam people, she will scam her own friends. You bought from her as a friend to support her, and she sold you an AliExpress item at 10 times the markup. Yeah, every single piece of that scheme is like comically unethical. I feel like it's good that OP is calling out their friend, whether she's able to take in that feedback or not. I also wonder what's up with the boyfriend because that seems like such a weird reaction. Am I the a-hole for calling my friend out for not respecting my boundaries at my wedding? So I, 28 female, recently got married to my partner, 30 male, and everything went great. The problem happened during the reception. I have a close friend, 29 female, who has been a bit of a troublemaker in the past, but I've always tried to be patient with her. She has a tendency to push my boundaries, and I've had to address this with her multiple times over the years. Before the wedding, I clearly told her that I didn't want her to bring her ex, who has caused drama in the past. She knew about my wishes and said she understood. However, when she showed up at the wedding, she was with him. I was really upset, but I didn't want to cause a scene, so I let it slide for the rest of the night. Later in the evening, she started getting very handsy with my husband. Nothing majorly inappropriate, but still uncomfortable. I had to pull her aside and tell her that it wasn't appropriate to behave like that, especially at my wedding. She got really upset and started arguing with me, saying I was being dramatic and was just overreacting. At this point, I lost my patience and told her that if she couldn't respect my boundaries, she should leave. She stormed off and hasn't talked to me since. Well, when somebody gets that upset when you're setting boundaries, that's a major red flag. Now, some of my other friends are saying I was too harsh and that I should have just let it go for the day. Am I the a-hole for calling her out and asking her to leave? You should have let go of your friend like flirting with your husband in front of you on your wedding day. Oh my gosh, I almost totally overlooked that she also brought the person that you said you didn't want at your wedding to your wedding. No, that's too many things. She's like walking all over you. I honestly think OP should put up more boundaries and keep this friend at a further distance until she can learn to respect them at the very least. Nah, your wedding, your boundaries. She knew the rules and still crossed them. Calling her out was totally fair. For real, it's not just one day. It's a day that you shouldn't have to play babysitter for a grown adult who can't even follow a simple no. She knew the boundary and crossed it anyway. You can't disrespect someone at their own wedding and expect no consequences. If someone can't behave at your wedding after explicit instructions, asking them to leave is the bare minimum, not the jerk. To be honest, the fact that you let it slide when she showed up with literally the only person you told her not to bring shows that you have much more patience than most. You didn't ruin the vibe, she did the second she walked in the door with him. Not the jerk, and he's an ex. A current boyfriend would be a little more understandable, but an ex? She chose to eat out of the trash instead of respecting her friend, aka the bride's, request. To then get handsy with the groom tells me that her actions were deliberate. If she didn't want to sabotage the day completely, she at least wanted to stress OP out on her wedding day. That's an interesting point. She definitely could be having some kind of weird competition with OP. She also might not be fully conscious of what she's doing, but it does reflect some major disrespect for OP. I have an extremely difficult time letting go of bad friendships, but OP needs to let this woman walk. It's time to recognize that she has nothing but trouble to offer. Yeah, I agree, and with OP saying that she has a history of crossing boundaries, I wonder how many chances OP's given her. This is a perfect example of you hanging on too long. You should have ended this friendship years ago. You didn't, and you invited her to your wedding, and you thought a little reminder about her behavior would be all it would take for her to behave on your wedding day. If that worked, you wouldn't even have needed to have the talk with her. She doesn't respect you, so any chat you have with her is just you shouting into the void. Count your blessings that you haven't heard from her. This woman came to your wedding and she 1. Brought an ex when you specifically asked her not to. 2. Got handsy with your new husband at the reception. 3. Reacted badly when you asked her to stop. 4. Stormed out. 5. Told all your mutual friends. And has now 6. Ghosted you, so you will apologize to her for her behaving like a toddler at your wedding. Does that sound like a friend to you? Write this one off finally. Block her. Call it done. And anyone who tells you that you were wrong, you should have handled it differently. You should have just let her humiliate and disrespect you at your wedding. Stop being friends with them too. Find better friends. Congratulations on getting married. Now go start your adult life with your new husband and new grown-up friends, not the jerk. Yeah, as harsh as that comment was, I think they might be absolutely correct. It is so hard to let go of friendships, and we don't know what the good parts of the friendship are that have kept OP in the relationship this long. But honestly, if you have a friend that keeps disrespecting you over and over, it's a lot better to just let them go. My best friend only texts me when they're going through something. When my life is falling apart, he's mysteriously busy. Do I end it or accept that this is just who he is? I've been friends with this guy for like 8 years. We used to be super close, talked almost every day, hung out all the time. But over the past couple of years, I've started noticing a pattern that's really bothering me. Whenever he's going through something, I'm the first person he calls. Breakup, I'm there. Job stress, I listen for hours. Family drama, I do everything to be supportive. And I don't mind doing that. That's what friends are for, right? But when I'm going through shit, crickets. My dad had a health scare a few months ago and I was a mess. I reached out to him multiple times and got short responses like, "Damn, that sucks, man," or "Hope he's okay." No following up, no checking in, nothing. Meanwhile, 2 weeks later, he's calling me at midnight because he got into an argument with his girlfriend and needed someone to vent to. Last month, I was going through a really rough time at work and contemplating quitting. I tried to talk to him about it and he literally changed the subject after like 2 minutes to talk about his fantasy football league. I ended up just going home, zoning out on my phone and playing on my prize for a bit because I didn't feel like explaining myself again. But when he has problems, I'm expected to be available immediately and give him my full attention. I've thought about bringing it up, but honestly, I don't even know how to without sounding like I'm keeping score or being petty. But it's starting to feel less like a friendship and more like I'm just his emotional support person who he doesn't actually care about as a person. Do I just accept that this is who he is and lower my expectations? Or is this something worth ending the friendship over? I feel like I'm being used, but also like maybe I'm overreacting because he's not a bad person. He's just self-centered, I guess. Has anyone else dealt with this kind of one-sided friendship? What did you do? I think a lot of times in a friendship, if you notice that the other person is really not matching your energy, it's good to pull back a bit. And then it's up to you whether or not you can kind of be comfortable at that level of friendship. Don't accept. This isn't friendship. This sounds like a one-sided friendship. At the very least, I'd advise putting this friendship on the back burner. Start becoming less available. Don't answer those midnight calls. I know that sucks because I'm a lot like you. I always go the extra mile for my friends too. And I've learned the hard way that some people really take that for granted or just aren't good friends. So now I'm a little bit more picky with who I invest more time and energy into. Yeah, I think that's really good advice. It never has to be so black and white as either you cut them off or you're all in. You can pull back in little ways that kind of protect your time and energy and free it up for somebody who you're gonna connect with more. And then, like I was saying earlier, it's up to you kind of how much you enjoy being in friendships like that. Yeah, that stinks, and he's being a jerk. He's always taking, and not giving much back to you. Friendships are about balance. The balance doesn't have to come in exactly the same form. Joe helps Pat move furniture because Joe is more physical, and Pat helps Joe with their taxes because Pat is more intellectual. That's balance, relying on their different strengths. If you're always the emotional support person to your friend, he better be doing a huge amount of other friend stuff to balance it out. I'm not getting the sense that he does that. And even if he did a fair amount of other friend stuff, you can still draw a line and say, this much emotional support but no more is what I can provide. Plus, I do think that when it comes to emotional support, that should be a bit more of a two-way street. Some people are a lot better at it than others, like you apparently are, but even if your friend feels like he doesn't know what to say or do in response, changing the subject to his fantasy football league after 2 minutes is definitely wrong. I mean, he could even get on the internet and ask for advice. Whether to end the friendship or not is up to you, but I think it's definitely time to ramp down on the emotional support. Don't take those midnight calls, just let it go to voicemail. Don't let him vent for hours. Keep get-togethers to a tighter time frame, restaurant meal rather than your house, for example, so that even if he vents the whole time, it's shorter. Don't hang out quite as often. Eventually, you'll get to a level that you feel comfortable with. Exactly, I like that a lot of the commenters are picking up on that. I wish I could ask OP what the friendship was like before when they felt closer to their friend. I'm really curious about whether the friend changed or OP became more aware. Am I the jerk for telling my friend to stay in her lane when she crossed the line? Okay, so a bit of backstory for those who don't already know this story. Who could already know the story? I'm a 21-year-old female and I have a boyfriend who is a 25-year-old male. I have a sister-in-law who is around the same age as my boyfriend and same as my brother. My sister-in-law has this friend. We'll call her Rose for this story. Rose is not her real name. But on December 11th of 2024, I found out that I'm expecting my very first baby with my brother. Oh my god. I found out that I'm expecting my very first baby with my boyfriend. And as all pregnancies go, as soon as a woman finds out that she's expecting, she will tell close friends and family. I told my sister-in-law, and of course she couldn't keep her mouth shut and ended up telling Rose. And Rose contacted me and said, "Congratulations, I heard you're expecting a baby." So of course I ask, "How did you know I was pregnant?" As I didn't tell her, but she replied and said, "Oh, your sister-in-law told me." I said okay and let it go since it was my first pregnancy and I didn't want any complications. So fast forward to when I'm 15 weeks and 4 days pregnant, which is 3 months and 3 weeks pregnant. I find out I'm having a boy. I went live on a social media app so that my other family and friends that couldn't make it could see the gender reveal. And after the party, I text Rose to personally tell her that I was having a boy. I thought she would say the normal, "Congratulations, I'm happy for you." But I didn't get that. Instead, she snapped, or in other words, popped off, and says, "I don't care what the F you're having, as it doesn't matter. I won't be able to see him anyways." I was quickly taken aback, and I replied with a simple, "What do you mean?" And she puts in all caps, "You know exactly what I mean. Don't play stupid." I was even more shocked because she's never been this rude. Then after a few hours, it clicked that she exploded saying she won't be able to see the baby because of the fact that me and my boyfriend live 2 hours and 15 minutes from my parents and all my close friends. It hurt, but then she texted me talking about, "You won't be a good mother. I expect that baby to be dead within 48 hours after it's born." That broke me and I snapped. I texted her, "That's coming from someone who doesn't ever want to hang out with me. And when you do, it's only ever if I have money and if I'm driving my car. So stay in your lane." I then proceeded to tell her that if she gets anywhere near my son, that I'll personally have her kicked off of all premises, meaning my parents' house or mine. We haven't spoken since, so tell me, am I the jerk? There has to be a lot of relevant context missing, no? I still don't understand why Rose popped off like that. I don't understand why OP replied the way that she did. Talking about them not hanging out enough, it makes me wonder if they were already like in conflict. Update. I forgot to mention that about 4 days after this incident, my sister-in-law contacted me saying that Rose was going through a spiral and needed some sympathy as she was told she had PCOS. When I told her to give my condolences, she spoke up and said, "I won't because she said you were rude to her." But then when I told her everything that happened, my sister-in-law stopped talking to her as well. But I still see her posts and she's calling me out saying I'm heartless and cruel as I was rubbing my pregnancy in her face. I'm completely at a loss for words as I thought me and Rose were once friends, but it stopped when I canceled plans with her due to no money or car troubles. Okay, well I guess the PCOS diagnosis at least gives us like a motive as to why she would be so aggressive when texting OP earlier. Also, I'm currently 19 weeks today. I'm so excited to say hello to my baby. I already only have about 21 weeks to go till I get to meet him. And also, I'd like to thank everyone for commenting and giving me congratulations and letting me share my story. There is more in stock for you as I have a couple of unrelated stories. Update 2. I just want to say thank you all for giving me advice. I appreciate you all. My boyfriend's had her blocked since a few days ago, and he blocked her boyfriend as well. I've also made sure to block her and her boyfriend and stop the drama before it gets worse. I'm glad she doesn't know where I live. And I talked to my sister-in-law, and she has since blocked her too, after I told her everything. She also told me she wasn't friends with the boyfriend and didn't have his number or anything on social media, but has looked him up and blocked him that way. Again, thank you for all the comments, and hopefully no more drama will conspire because of Rose's insecurities and her love for drama. It is terrible if Rose said those horrible things about expecting OP's baby to die, but I'm just saying, with those reactions, let's not pretend that you don't love drama too, OP. Not the jerk. She definitely is. I suspect jealousy or infertility. Either way, she's out. If it was jealousy or infertility, why did Rose even reach out initially to offer congratulations? The harshness of this second response just doesn't fit with the previous comment or relationship with OP. Something is obviously missing here, and I am not insinuating that it's on OP's end, as she sounds genuinely confused about it. I still kind of feel like there's something missing even with the update, but like I said, it does at least give some explanation for that hostility. It sounds like you commented before the update. It is explained that Rose found out that she has PCOS after the initial response. It is very difficult to carry a baby to term with PCOS, so she is practically infertile. I have known so many people to get pregnant with PCOS that I think that that's just completely misleading to say that she's practically infertile, but it can definitely be some tough news if you're really hoping for a baby. It can definitely make getting pregnant more difficult. My mom has PCOS and had to endure years of hormone therapy and losing 2 babies to be able to have me and my brother. Oh, that's so heartbreaking. See, having kids can happen, it's just sometimes the journey there is a little bit more difficult. Not the jerk. First of all, she was nasty first with seemingly zero provocation. Who the hell says that to someone? This immediately got me angry because my own sister said almost the exact same words. About being such a bad mother, my child would be dead. Except she said in less than a day. To me, after not speaking to me for years. We've been no contact for 10 years, and I found out I can't have kids and she now has 5, after telling everyone she hates kids her entire life, so it hurts even more. After the first 2, she told me she'd never trust me to babysit. I worked with early years children at the time, so it was a ridiculous thing to say. Honestly, Rose sounds unhinged, and you're probably better off never speaking to her again. I would possibly contact the sister-in-law since Rose is her friend. You may want to warn her that her friend may be having some mental health problems and send the text over. Yeah, OP has updated that she did that. Good luck with your little one, OP. That is such a cruel thing to say, especially to like a new mother, because they're already feeling uncertain and scared about this new responsibility. To be intentionally like rubbing salt in that wound seems really nasty. And if for some reason you had actual genuine concerns about somebody's ability to be a fit parent, there are certainly way better ways to go about saying that or involving appropriate channels than to just throw in their face that you think their kid will die. That's just cruel. Thank you so much for watching today. If you liked this video, please subscribe and I will see you in the next one.